everybody, welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington, you guys. My name
First of all, thank you all for being here as well. My name is Rachel Harrison. I'm adult programming coordinator. Kathryn Kauffman. Miss Kathryn Kauffman, all the way from Lexington, joining us here tonight.
is Kathryn Kauffman, and I'm a psychic medium here in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to my every Monday night show. This is where we discover what and who we are in this journey called life. Before we get started, I'm going to drop a link in the comments really quick to my YouTube channel where you can view all of the past episodes of Monday Night Live. There are a lot of good videos on there that answer a lot of questions that my clients have on a daily basis. So the purpose of the show is to take those questions that I get and turn them into an informative video so that there's a resource for people to get the answers that they need. You know, maybe if they can't come and afford a reading, or maybe if they have questions that go past the sessions. If you enjoy these Monday night episodes, go ahead and share that screen, hit the share button on your screen right now and share this out in your newsfeed. That really helps the show a lot. Shout out over here to Joy on Instagram. And let's do some quick shout outs over here on Facebook. Hey to Taya, Tracy, Philip Travis, Amber Clem, Paige Denise, Tony Lahane, Tom Driver, Melissa Begley, big shout out to you, and kisses to Miss Cleo, and Janet, and Rachel Smalley, and Cheryl Moore. Thanks for joining me tonight. Let's see, if you guys have any questions at all, please drop them in the comments. I'll try to get to those in the show, and if I don't, I promise I'll get to them after the show is over. So Taya says, hello, Miss Kauffman, I'm glad you feel better. Yes. We've missed the last 2 Mondays due to upper respiratory problems that developed into pneumonia. And so I'm still feeling a little bit weak. And I have all of my reserves over here. There's Kleenex and Ricola. So hopefully I won't need those. Hopefully this is the only thing I need tonight, which is cough medicine, aka bourbon. It's the only thing that works. Hey to Donna Hayden and Charlotte Northcutt. So tonight, our topic is spirit attachments, which a lot of people have problems with. And some people don't even realize that they have a spirit attachment. So let's get some housekeeping stuff out of the way really quick before we dive into this topic. Again, this winter, I'm going to be presenting the Crystal Clubhouse meditations. They will be about $15 or $20. It'll be a collection of specific gemstone meditations for those of us that love to work with gemstones and do that on a daily basis. It is going to be a guided meditation. It's not like anything you've ever heard or seen before. And hopefully I'll have a lot of really nice video to go with it. Special shout out to Rita Fox and Yasmin Jadoon. Thanks for joining us this evening. Another housekeeping thing is this winter, probably in January or February, I'm going to be presenting a webinar on advanced protective techniques for your house, home, property, and person. And so you'll be wanting to watch for that webinar. It's not going to be very expensive at all, just like everything else, $15 to $20. And that pretty much just covers my time and effort putting it all together. Another housekeeping thing, the rest of December is going to be on Monday Night Live, several episodes on sleep paralysis. This is a huge topic that a lot of people have questions about, and it does happen to a lot of people. So that's going to be a multiple episode topic. So please stay tuned for the rest of December for sleep paralysis. Again, if you enjoy these shows, one way to help the show is to go ahead and hit that share button at the bottom of the screen and share this out in your feed. That way more people get to see it, and maybe that it can help them as well. So who are susceptible to attachments? Well, we're all susceptible to getting an attachment. And what it means when I say an attachment is, this is either a spirit of somebody who's passed on, or an entity that has hooked itself into your energy field. Okay, that's why we call it an attachment. It's just like a leech that would, adhere to part of your body and draw energy from you. Now, most often these are energy feeders, or entities that feed off of human energy. Part of the spectrum is a loved one who's passed away that wants to stay close or attached to your energy field. Now, the thing about that is, it's not always a good thing to have that extra energy hooked into your nervous system. Again, if anybody has any questions, just drop them in the comments, and I will try to watch over here on the side for questions. Hey to Charlotte Northcutt, Susan Tovine, Stevie Anna King, Sharon Bernard, Pamela Downey, and Christy Osborne Glass. Hi, you guys. Good to see you. Okay. So most all people are susceptible to attachments, but there's a certain percentage of people that are more likely to have and keep attachments. Now, so the people that are most susceptible to attachments are empathic people, because empathic people connect with their environment on the energy of feeling and how they feel about their environment and how they energetically feel about things. And feelings are very strong emotions that empaths deal with, and that's an energy source for a lot of attachments. Psychics are definitely people who are very susceptible to attachments, because the energy field of an empath or psychic is exacerbated. It's brighter. It extends farther out past the body. Teenagers are grouped into this category because they're at the height of their energy, of their physical energy, and that radiates out quite a ways and is very attractive to energy feeders and spirits of people who've passed on. Because in a spiritual state, the energy does not feel normal to a spirit. The physical body kind of accentuates the energy field, and it makes the person feel a little bit stronger. And once you lose that body and are disassociated from the physical, the energy feels to that spirit at first, until they acclimate, feels weak. And so that when they're around someone who radiates a large amount of energy, like a teenager or a psychic or an empath, they take part of that energy and use it. And what it does is it makes them feel more normal. So they may not realize that they are causing harm by hooking into somebody's energy field. Hey to Zoe, Kathy, Brandon, Erica, and Robin. So another group that's highly susceptible are mentally ill patients, only because they're not in control of their auric field. So they can't effectively do psychic protection to prevent an entity from hooking into their energy field. Other people that are susceptible to this are people who are addicted to drugs or alcohol. Again, like the mentally ill, they're unable to protect their energy field because the influence of the drugs and alcohol lowers the threshold of protection. So another thing is, if you're asleep, you are open to an attachment from whatever force is there. So what it's going to feel like is excess, kind of oppressive type of energy. And why is it dangerous for a living being? We have our own energy field in our chakras that function, and they're supposed to be balanced. One of the best things that acupuncturists do is they balance and even the flow of the energy in the body and all the chakras. And when you have something that hooks into that energy, what you're having is a disruption of the natural energy flow of the body. And over time, this can really do a lot of damage to the nervous system. Nervous system problems that you're going to see. Let's go over those. So over here on Instagram, Joy says, hot toddy, old Fitzgerald, and warm tea. I will do that tonight, Joy. Thanks for putting that on there. Hey to Jamie Lynn, thanks for joining us. And Sheila June, I hope that you're feeling better, Sheila. So let's look at some of the symptoms of what it's like to have an attachment. So it's always going to be something that has to do with the nervous system, like fatigue, lack of energy, and this is constant. Constantly feeling cold, and the reason why you're constantly feeling cold is this other entity is really basically using all of the energy that you have available to yourself. Powerful negative emotions, and that could be if you have a negative attachment, because remember, a lot of entities that feed off of energy are malevolent and quite negative. Fogginess or lack of clarity, okay? Not being able to focus, not being able to get clarity on a situation because it's just so muddled. Anxiety, panic attacks, anxiety and panic attacks, depression, mood swings, maybe even moods that aren't really yours that may be attributable to the other entity. Let's say that you have an attachment of somebody who was very negative in life, or who maybe you went to an area where somebody committed suicide that was very negative, and because your energy was very attractive, they decided to attach to you, which does happen. Sorry. Do the best I can tonight. So you may be showing some of their moods if they're attached to your energy field. Like if you're not a person who was depressed before, and you enter into an area where somebody committed suicide from depression and despair, you might start showing those mood swings that are very atypical for yourself. I hope this is making sense. So let's see. Hey to Leah O'Connell and Michelle Durbin. We're going to go over, Leah, what we should do at the end of the show, so stay tuned. Hey to Sarah Beth. Other things that have been known to show that there may be an attachment is you want to isolate. You don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want to see anybody. So you're avoiding all contact with your loved ones and your friends. So it does cause relationship problems, irritability, constantly fighting with your loved ones or your friends. Again, poor memory or concentration can even cause suicidal thoughts, and you may be picking those up from whatever's attached to you. Certainly insomnia, fears, obsessions, phobias. Here's one that really gives it away. Strange skin sensations like feeling like worms or prickly, or nerve kind of sensations are crawling all over your body. That's a huge giveaway that you have an attachment. Tendency towards addictions. A lot of people start out, maybe they're not addicted to drugs or alcohol, but will find that they're using substances to really cover up the symptomology of having the attachment. Okay. severe allergies, feeling like paranoid feelings of being watched, being touched, or even being sexually molested at night in your sleep. So Melissa says probably leads to many misdiagnoses in the medical or mental health community. Yes, it can. And this is so easy to treat that, a person should seek mental health and seek out a professional like that. But it cannot hurt to do some of the things that we're going to talk about in addition to. And if you find that some of the techniques that we talk about kind of gets rid of it, then you kind of know what you're dealing with at that point. Hey to Christina Burton over here on Instagram, and Kendra, thanks for joining us. Yes, absolutely. I'm glad you logged on too, Leah, because these are going to be easy things that we're going to discuss to treat this type of thing. Let's talk about the activities that put you at risk, and then we'll go into what can be done about it. Okay, so the activities that really put you at risk of picking up an attachment. Now, if you're empathic or psychic, you can't help but pick up an attachment because that's just who you are and it's your energy field. But psychics and empaths have a responsibility to perform certain cleansing and reattunement techniques that keep the aura in tune, unattached, and in good condition, and the psychic protection needs to be put in place. So if you are an empath or a psychic, you absolutely have to do grounding exercises. You must do routine cleansing, and you must do routine reattunement by vibratory methods. And we're going to talk about that. So people who are ungrounded, unshielded, and do not use a regular cleansing technique are definitely, that's an activity that puts you at risk. Now, also dabbling in the occult. Now, it's not a bad thing to study occult stuff. Do it responsibly. Don't dabble. Don't play with it, because these are dangerous things in the hands of people that don't know what they're doing. So dabbling is the key phrase here. If you want to study the occult, do it responsibly, train under somebody that knows, use protective techniques, get grounded, get shielded, and cleanse and reattune on a regular basis, and you should be fine, but do it responsibly. Another thing, ghost hunting. And for people who are amateurs, who haven't studied, they don't know the protective techniques, they don't know to cleanse after they go on a ghost hunt, that's lumped into that dabbling category, because you could pick up something and drag it home from you from going on a ghost hunt. Now, even as a professional on ghost hunts, I still inadvertently drag stuff home from time to time. But I know how to ground, I know how to cleanse that extra energy away, and I know how to get rid of it from my living space. So, big difference. Anytime you go to a funeral home, you're at risk of getting an attachment. Hospitals are a big place for getting an attachment as well. Graveyards. So if you're going out frequently to any of those type of locations, nursing homes, so if you work at a nursing home, you work at a hospital, you work at a funeral home, you absolutely need to do regular grounding, shielding, cleansing, reattunement. People who are going to areas where there have been a lot of traumas or murders or suicides, those all have very negative, heavy imprints, and you're highly susceptible at picking up an attachment in those particular areas. Let me check for questions. Hey to Sheila Arthur Bailey. And so Tony says she works at a nursing home. So it's really, really important, Tony, for you to do regular grounding, cleansing, shielding, and reattunement on a weekly basis. And if you don't, you may start to experience some of those symptoms that we talked about. So now, Let me check and see if there's anything else I need to mention. And most all of those symptoms that we talked about, they're all neurological. And sometimes the attachment will really feel like almost a static in your energy field, and you can almost really sense that there's something extra there. And you may perceive it as an anxiety or panic attack because of that extra energy. So really pay attention to some of these symptoms that we talked about, like the anxiety and panic attacks, fogginess, lack of clarity, lack of focus, always feeling cold, lack of energy, mood swings, headaches, suicidal thoughts, fears, phobias, obsessions, addictions, and really that paranoid feeling of someone's always there or someone's always watching you. One of the other things that's a sure sign of an attachment is being sexually attacked in your sleep. I've hopped over to the professional page really quick. Hey to Phyllis Coley, Marianne, Stevie Anna, Madison. So Phyllis wants to know how to protect yourself. And Dahlia wants to know how to get rid of them. And Teresa, hey, we're going to go over that in just a second, so stay tuned. I'm going to hop back over to the personal page now. I just like to maybe once in the show kind of check the professional page to see if there isn't any really pertinent question on there. So let's go over how to protect yourself, because a lot of people suffer from this, and a lot of people will go around with an attachment and not even really realize that it's not them, it's something extra that has hooked into their energy field. So here's the most important thing that I can tell you is that acupuncturists are the professionals of the human energy field. Now, these days, and we couldn't in the past, but 3,000 years ago, acupuncturists used, and they still use today, the energy channels of the body to treat the energy field. We're able to see on CAT scan nowadays those energy channels that acupuncturists have been using for 3,000 years. It's like proven now on CAT scan. So if you want, all you have to do is go on to Google and search CT scans of acupuncture energy fields, and you will be able to look at those. Acupuncturists are definitely the professionals at being able to balance and detect excess energy within the human energy biofield. That is one of the best treatments that I can recommend for removing and detecting an attachment or an excess energy. So here in Lexington, I refer people to Blue Lotus Acupuncture, and I can recommend them. If you think that you may have an attachment, I highly recommend that you see those practitioners there, and they can definitely remove any type of attachment through acupuncture and treat it. Any type of energy healer like Reiki, a master Reiki healer or a master pranic healing practitioner will be able to help you remove excess energy or excess attachments that have hooked into your energy field. Now, a small population will suffer from an oppressive type of attachment. Some people would call it mistakenly possession. Possession is extremely, 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 extremely rare. And possession really means that the entity has completely taken over the person's energy field, and you cannot detect the original person underneath the attachment. In other words, the possession has really covered up and done away with any sign of the person who was originally there. It has taken over, and what you're seeing in the continuum is nothing but the possessive spirit, demonic or whatever. Now, if a person is suffering from a malevolent oppression, That's a little bit more classical in that the malevolent entity will take over episodically, and episodically you're going to see a breakthrough of these other mood swings, this other persona that kind of takes over temporarily, but not as in a possession where it takes over permanently. The oppressive forces will take over temporarily, and you're going to see a different person for like maybe a half a day, and then all of a sudden they're back to normal. That's an oppressive entity, malevolent entity, but it is not. And people say, oh, they're possessed. Well, no, possession is when the person that you love and know is gone, and that other entity has kind of pretty much taken its place. So Leah says, I feel water splashed on me. Any kind of tactile sensation, Leah, like the crawling or the electrical feeling up and down the skin, that can be a symptom of this. So Tony says, I feel like I'm going crazy. I'm glad you're talking about this. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do have these attachments and don't even realize it. Oh, so Leah lives above an acupuncture shop. So tell me, Leah, what location are you in? Yes, Melissa's right. Blue Lotus does have a location in Berea, and they're there once a week. I think it's on Wednesdays. Hey to Trisha Langley. So you know, if you're located in Berea, contact Blue Lotus and see if you can get in on one of those days that they're in Berea. So now getting back to oppressive tendencies from a malevolent being or even possession type of symptoms, that would need to go to a deliverance ministry. And I do have several people that I refer to in Kentucky. So, but it's a different kind of help. Deliverance ministry really works on an extraneous power source from the universe. And deliverance ministry, the ministers are not really working directly with the person's energy field. In other words, they're not sensing the energy field, they're not detecting the excess energy. There are things that they do to determine that person has an oppression or a possession. But the deliverance ministry actually works energetically differently than the acupuncture and pranic healing and Reiki. Now, people, you guys can take control of this and treat it yourself as well. And we're going to talk about things on how to do that. So things that you're going to do, and this has to be a regular practice, you guys. You're going to do a self-cleansing. Now, self-cleansing can be done with a consecrated salt bath. As we know, salt conducts electromagnetic energy, and so does water. And so salt that's been consecrated to remove negative energy, along with this water bath, is the perfect medium for removing that excess energy from your energy field. So if you're a person that does a lot of ghost hunting or investigations, this should be something that you ritually do as soon as you get back from the ghost hunt or investigation, is a cleansing salt bath. Now, people who suspect that they have attachments, like a psychic or an empath or somebody who's very sensitive, this would be something you would want to do on a weekly basis, is this cleansing salt bath. Now, if anybody wants the recipe on how to consecrate and make your own cleansing salt, I would be happy to send you that PDF for free. All you have to do is message me here on Facebook, and I will forward the PDF to you. So that would be something you would want to do on a weekly basis. Other things that you can do a smudge over your body with either sage or Palo Santo. Those are good things to use. You can also use an essential oil by Young Living, and if anybody needs Young Living oils, see Tony Lahane here on the comment section, or Misty Dones English, and she's on my friends list, and they can both provide you with Young Living oils. So other Young Living oils, they're definitely really good. at protection and reattunement are the Palo Santo, the white angelica, frankincense, and also I particularly love northern lights, and I use northern lights to clear the space in my reading room in between people that are having a lot of emotional issues. So those are some of the things. Let's go over a lot of self-care stuff. So you can smudge, you can use the essential oils on your key points on your body, like forehead and wrists. You can also really block and shield your energy, use psychic protection when you're out and about at, let's say you have to go to a funeral. That you know that is a place where you could possibly pick up an attachment. That should be a key to you to immediately use some kind of psychic protection and implement that before you even leave the house. Okay. If you're going to a hospital, if you're going to a funeral home, if you have to go to a nursing home, put that psychic protection in place before you leave. And let's see, Tony says frankincense and white angelica she uses a lot. And since she works in a nursing home, that's imperative for her. So Philip says a self-cleansing or reattunement sounds so much more logical than seeking out a Cajun or Caribbean priestess to perform the attachment removal. Yes, and here's something that I want to tell you guys, and I have to set people straight on this a lot, and bless their hearts, I get a big percentage of people that have gone the cheaper route and gone to a psychic that's not very professional, and that person has told them that they have a dark entity or a curse on them, and for $1,000, that person will get rid of it for them. That's the oldest ruse in the book. Oldest ruse in the book. So if you hear that from anybody, right away, you know that person is trying to work you, and you know that person is not professional. Do not believe them for 1 minute. Okay? Because I get a lot of people that come in upset. They think they've got a hex or a curse or maybe a dark entity. And that's another reason why I give these PDFs away for free. Anybody who is feeling oppressed or feeling in trouble, you can have these teachings for free. That's no big deal, because you really need to take care of your own energy field. So practice these regular cleansings. Now let's get into reattunement. Once you cleanse your energy field, not everything's gonna leave. Maybe it can tolerate the salt bath. Then what are you gonna do? Well, reattunements in the vibrational therapy is one of the best things to rid your energy field of this excess energy past the acupuncture. Acupuncture, in my opinion, is the absolute best. But maybe use the acupuncture with some of this other stuff, and you're going to be golden. So Tricia says she's using white sage smudging in the house. And that's an excellent thing to do. Some of the other stuff that we're going to talk about, though, Tricia, lasts longer than smudging. And some of the deficits of smudging, like smudging, here's the problem with smudging, is entities are made out of mass. They still have a mass, some kind of substance to their existence. Now, they do not like when a person walks through their mass. It disrupts their energy. It doesn't feel comfortable to them. So they will pull back to attics, basements, closets, crawl spaces, corners of the room even. And they'll kind of just hang out there to prevent, their energy from having contact directly with you, from being disrupted. Now, so the problem with smudging, Tricia, is it doesn't get into every space of the home. It can't get into the back of the closet unless you just really rip everything out and go through there. There's places in the attic the smudge can't reach. And the smoke attenuates very rapidly. So what I'm finding is that you keep having to re-smudge more frequently than you would if you used a more long-term method. So yes, Melissa says cleansing sprays from Crystal Crazy, and Barbara Bacon has an excellent array of cleansing sprays that are a phenomenal vibration to use, especially around little kids or elderly that are on oxygen or that have lung problems, and you can't smudge around those people. So let's see. So Tony says her dog won't go into her basement. So this would be, the basement would be a definite area, Tony, that you would want to treat. So any questions over here? Hey to Danae over here on Instagram. Good to see you. And Indigo Buck and Steve Dam. Okay. So vibrational treatment is one of the best things to do because vibrations will go through the walls. So you don't have to worry about spaces that you haven't been able to reach with a smudge or with salt. The vibrations are the only thing that will actually travel through the structures. So you can get to the back of the closet. You can get to the full part of the attic. You can get to the full part of the basement. Every place will be treated with the vibrational therapy. Now, just like everything else, it would be like, I'm going to equate it to somebody playing a stereo really loud. Let's say one night your neighbor plays their music so loud you can hardly stand it. You can tolerate that for one night, right? And so you're kind of like waiting it out until they quit. That's kind of how these spirit entities are. They're going to wait it out until you quit. Yeah, some of them may leave at the first onslaught of the vibrational therapy, like using a crystal bowl, bells, Tibetan singing bowl is one of the best things to use. But if you have a resistant spirit who's been entrenched in the environment for a long time, you're going to have to reattune every single day until that entity leaves. So back to the neighbor that plays the loud music, you can stand it for one night, but if you had to sit there and listen to that every single night, you're going to think about leaving or moving, right? And so these entities are just like that. If you're persistent with this vibrational reattunement, it's definitely going to leave. It may take a while, but you have to be persistent. So Taya says, are you able to tell if someone has an attachment when they come see you for a reading? Yes. And it's, to me, what I see in my mind is like a dark shadow that may be on top of their aura. So you're going to see their auric field, but you're going to see like a layer of a shadow on top of that. And that's just my experience for me. So reattunement needs to be done after you cleanse. So let's take me, for example, and I go on an investigation and there's something really malevolent there. And I know this. And when I come home, I feel a little bit heavy or maybe too tired. I'm going to go immediately and get some consecrated salt and take a salt cleansing bath. Then what I'm going to do is use some dark or black gemstones around the bed at night to absorb whatever negative energy is there. I'm also going to use some Young Living essential oils, maybe Palo Santo, white angelica, or frankincense, or even northern lights on my person. And then I'm also going to sit with a Tibetan singing bowl and I will ring it for a good 5 minutes, just saturating my energy field with vibration, pushing that extra energy out and away. And because it's in close proximity to me, it's going to, if it's attached to me, it's going to push through them as well. Another thing is, if I'm using the Tibetan singing bowl, let's say the entity disassociates from me for a little bit and says, oh my God, that's horrible. I don't want to be attached to her while she's doing that. And it pulls back to a closet. It cannot hide in the closet because that vibration is going to go in a wave outwards and go through that closet. So vibrational reattunement is one of the absolute best things that you can do for yourself. And then the next day, like I would carry jet or black obsidian or black tourmaline to, just kind of reinforce that protection from it reattaching. So let's see. Melissa says, I underwent an aura reading and it was awesome. That is so cool, Melissa. Please put in the comments who you got that from and share it with us, and maybe some of the viewers would like to do that as well for themselves. So if you have any specific questions or you want the PDFs on how to make your own consecrated protective salt, or if you want the PDF on how to do the cleansing bath, again, message me here on Facebook and I will be glad to get that to you. Now, remember, next Monday night is going to be the beginning of sleep paralysis. So that's going to be a big one because there's a lot of people who are interested in that. Thanks, you guys, for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, the link is in the comments at the very top. I would appreciate you subscribing and sharing the videos with your friends. It really helps the show a lot. And I will see you next Monday night for another episode of Monday Night Live. Kisses from Kentucky, and I will see you guys next week.